we generated around 560 plus million impressions organically. Those
creating property cards for the first time for people owning houses in the rural areas.
We have a patent on a bits technology, which...
But we were really guided by what we wanted it to be.
In terms of the content consumption pattern has changed.
Very competitive, very crowded.
The objective is basically to democratize cancer care.
I see a very bright future for retail industry.
Technology now allows us to scale up.
We also want to help patients become more compliant.
If I look at the custom solutions market, it's almost about $1,500 billion.
Your customers will not continue to be with you if you don't change gear.
We had adopted digitalization much earlier.
Within a very short span of time, we are the number one operator in the whole of South India.
If you are reaching out to a lakh people today, you would be reaching out to an entire globe tomorrow.
We got those two brands and then immediately got into a few of the LFRs and there was no looking back.
Hello guys, good morning everyone and welcome to our 47th episode of ASCENT Talks. My name is Ajit Panikar and I've been an ASCENT member for over 10 years and I lead Nova, an air conditioning company, and Pure Blue, a tech-enabled startup in the air conditioning domain. And as usual, on the 47th episode, my co-host is Aleem. How are you doing, Aleem?
Great, Ajit. Good morning and good morning to everyone. My name is Aleem Merchant. I run an advertising and marketing company in Mumbai called Synapse. And I've been an ASCENT member for 6-7 years now. But Ajit, for the 48th time, you have to tell us what is ASCENT.
47th, my friend.
47th.
ASCENT is a non-profit organization that helps entrepreneurs grow their business. It was founded by Harsh Mariwala, Chairman Marico Ltd, in 2012, and which has helped over 850 entrepreneurs across India. ASCENT's key features is its trust groups, where entrepreneurs can share experiences and ideas. ASCENT Talks is hosted weekly on Friday at 11 a.m. to showcase the journeys of its members. So, Aleem, let's bring in our guest today.
Welcoming Dr. Raghunandan Jagdish. He's completed his M.Tech in Mechanical Engineering from Texas A&M University and has been striving to fulfill the vision of Make in India, Deliver for the World at Nandan GSE. For the past 20 plus years, he's had the honor of serving the Indian Armed Forces, the legendary Mr. Ratan Tata himself, and many more prestigious and reputed organizations. Currently, as a CEO of Nandan GSE, he is leading the team of 350 plus world-class professionals. They design and manufacture specialized material for handling and lifting systems, vehicle applications, hydraulics, scissor lifts, and much more. For 30 plus years, Nandan Group has been helping their customers save 10 billion rupees in 25 plus countries by delivering 10,000 plus high quality specialized material handling systems. They work with global businesses such as Airport Authority of India, Indian Space Research Organization, Tata Sats, Larsen and Toubro, and many more. And now, from a world-class factory, they're open to do contract manufacturing for the entire products or parts of it. I should get an M.Tech degree for saying all these things, LLB degree for saying all these things. But yes, I'm simply a BCom. But yeah, welcome, Dr. Raghu, to the show.
Thank you so much. Thanks, Ajit, and thanks, Aleem, for having me on. And it's an honor. Incidentally, today is Engineers Day. So
yeah,
15th September, right. It is my honor to be here on the show live to talk to you guys. And thanks for the intro. Appreciate it.
Raghu, tell us a little about your entrepreneurial journey, about Nandan GSE, and what is unique about what you do.
Great. Thanks. So from a humble beginning in 1991 that Dad started the company as Nandan Enterprises. He was not very creative, so he named it after me. So Raghunandan inspired Nandan Enterprises. From there on, I studied, came back. In 2003, we did our first expansion. From 19 people, I set up a factory in Navi Mumbai. And as of today, we are 250 plus across 1 lakh square feet in Navi Mumbai and Khopoli. I think there's a little audio visual that you can just like showcase.
Yeah, so let's actually show everybody. That would make it great and easier for you to understand what Nandan GSE is all about. Here you go.
Sure.
It takes grit to gain glory, conviction to conquer, drive to thrive, question the norms, challenge the conventions, transform aspiration to inspiration, systems to ecosystems, and shape a future that fascinates. A leading provider of specialized handling systems, we at Nandan GSE enhance productivity, performance, and safety for our customers worldwide. The insight of J.C. Kumar, our founder and chairman, and the foresight of Dr. Raghunandan Jagdish, our MD and CEO, has propelled us at Nandan GSE to become a global leader in the industry. With a presence in over 25 countries, we at Nandan GSE have a track record of delivering over 10,000 equipment and adding value to our customers for aviation GSE, defense systems, specialized material handling solutions, and truck and container loading systems. We invest in our team with the best quality of coaching, mentoring, and training, with our own knowledge and learning management system integrated with our cloud-based ERP. Nandan GSE has been awarded and recognized multiple times by business leaders, publications, and governments, inspiring us to reach top echelons of excellence. At Nandan GSE, we strive to improve the productivity, performance, and safety of our customers, helping them save money, time, and effort. We pride ourselves on our consultative selling approach, rooted in values, excellence in execution, and supporting lifelong relationships. Join us at Nandan GSE, where we deliver value through Make in India and Make for the World to boost your productivity, performance, and safety through our unwavering commitment to quality for the past 3 decades and years to come. Nandan GSE.
That's very cool, man. That's nice. But tell us, Nandan, people who are not from the industry, how big is this industry? What are these opportunities? Because you are a global company. You're selling across the world. So tell us, what are the opportunities? Give us a little bit of insight within the industry.
Right. So Ajit, we basically are into 3 separate verticals. One is aviation ground support equipment. So whenever a plane is parked on the ground, whatever surrounds it is called GSE. That's a huge market because there are very few players worldwide who are able to give quality and reliable products. We are one of them. We've already delivered these in 25 countries and the list is growing. The next is material handling systems. So this again, like you need to move, lift, shift, move, convey anything, whether it's people, boxes, big containers, or any heavy goods. You need to use MHE, and that's changing because in India and everywhere in the world, manpower for handling is not available. That's a fantastic opportunity. The third and the most important one is the defense. We started working defense in a very small way, but today that itself is a very, very big part because of Atmanirbhar Bharat and Make in India. We make solutions for handling missiles, armored transporters, bespoke systems. So the bottom line in all of these is like, we understand what the customer's problem in handling is and we solve it. So the product is immaterial. The solution and the technology can be made tailor-made to what the customer wants. So whether you want to lift elephants to the 3rd floor of a building, or you want to park your missile safely, or you want to move your cars if you're Ratan Tata, we have solutions for all of you. And also, if anybody has a factory, we can guaranteed come in and do an audit across the factory and give you at least 10 or 15 saving mechanisms where you can save effort, money, and time, which I think straight away impacts your bottom line.
I can understand cars, I can understand machines. Who moves elephants, my friend? I'm a little cut off on that front. But yeah, but I think it's very well explained in terms of actually taking a reach. Yeah.
So, Raghu, what I'm understanding is there are not too many players in this zone, right? I mean, there must be not. So, what kind of changes did you bring in this industry that made you amongst the forefront, or put you right up there?
So typically, the people who used to make these MHEs were called fabricators, whereas we call ourselves manufacturers. We call ourselves innovators and designers. So we don't, we have a full process where we sell the solution to the customer what they require. We innovate on the solution with global benchmarks, and we manufacture it with very stringent quality requirements. So then when we deliver it out, it becomes a solution that lasts for a very long time.
No, Raghu, any entrepreneurial journey is never hunky-dory, right? And you're a second-generation entrepreneur. And so tell us about some of those difficult challenges that you've been actually facing through this entire journey, and also, taking over the business from your dad and then scaling it up. What are the big challenges that you faced during this entire journey?
So yes, I studied in the US. So coming back to India at that time, and then I'm talking about 2003-4, and then right from looking for the land to getting the bank loan to taking care of the social, I won't call it anti-social, the social elements around in the industrial area, and setting them right to make sure that we work with the community and hiring a lot of people from scratch. So you need to don a lot of hats, and that's where I learned at the School of Hard Knocks another master's once again about how to set up an industry and how to run it. Along the way, we of course had a lot of challenges. 2008 recession came up. We had the pandemic. So at the time, just before the pandemic, when I turned 40, dad was gracious enough to give the full control of the organization to me, which is what it was, because the styles of functioning of first generation and second generation will be dramatically different. So unless there is one structured generation which has control, it doesn't take over. So we were running for the first 15 years in little of dad's way, because he was chairman and managing director. So 2019, I took over as MD. That's when we used a philosophy called scaling up from Vern Hanish. There's a book called Scaling Up, which I love. And we used that to set up a leadership team. We set up a lot of processes. We set up business on autopilot, started operations as a first. We started empowering, delegating, authorizing my leaders to take this forward. So when Corona happened and when we were brainstorming, we realized that this is the best time for us to actually expand rather than contract. So I made a promise to my team that I won't fire a single guy because of what happens. I mean, we kind of didn't know what is getting up, but with every crisis, there is an opportunity. So we demolished our whole factory. We rebuilt it from scratch, right from the foundation onwards, and we converted it into a world-class manufacturing setup. So 2019, we were having 120 employees. Today, we have 250 plus employees and a lot of people who support us going there. So I think taking it up, you can't make a 10-year vision plan and keep it up there. But every 3 years, you need to reset your visions and make and if your team aligns with it, take them along with it. So I think my team believed in my vision. My dad supported me, and all my well-wishers listened to me. Initially, they said we were mad. Who takes a loan at the time of crisis like Corona to build up more than double of what you were before? But today it's kind of validated. I just returned back from a trip to Africa and Qatar. We are seeing humongous belief in Indian manufacturing, and for that, of course, you need processes, people, and infra already set up. So today, if somebody goes to set it up, it's too late. So we were, I think, validated.
That's so great. Yeah. Congratulations on the new acquisitions, and you have a big fan base over here. A lot of comments coming in for you also.
In fact, yeah, in fact, Raghu, you'll be surprised. I have the access to the analytics out here. Over the last 10 weeks, okay, in terms of viewership, this has got the maximum viewership. As of now, we've got from multiple sources about close to 50 plus people who are watching us live. So you are quite a popular man.
You gave me only 30 minutes lead time before you told me it's going to be live. You'd have given me 2 days. This would have crossed maybe like I have
Don't worry,
34,000 followers on
you got
LinkedIn.
the entire weekend. The entire weekend, we usually most of our shows goes into a few thousands after the over the weekend. So it's anyway going to be multiples actually.
We'll call you back again.
So,
Raghu,
Yeah.
tell me, when you hear these words, "Make in India, deliver for the world," I saw your face. You look very motivated. What is it? What is it that drives you behind this vision of "Make in India, deliver for the world"?
so number one, when I was in the US in 2003, the fork was very clear. One is stay abroad and try to build up a career for myself, or the other is I heard Vajpayee ji speaking, saying, "India is shining, come back and make it." I thought he was speaking to me, and that's exactly when I came back. And of course, there are hurdles, there are going to be a different road. But today, I think what the government is doing. I am a big fan of what Modi's done in the last 9 years. And I can tell you from first hand saying for an industrialist to run industries become so much easier. The global outlook of having an Indian company has become so much better. Earlier, people used to only look at us for cheap labor. Even if you talk about the big IT, companies, they were more known because not of innovation, but because they were able to do things cheap. But today, we proudly say we are not the cheapest. There are people who are cheaper than Indian goods worldwide. But even then, we win the deal because of quality. So I think the point about having a good local captive requirement, number one. Number two, having good economic ties with all countries worldwide. And the government putting in a policy that anything up to 200 crores, you need to make in India and give a first chance to an Indian company. Only then you can import. I think that itself is a big step to take this across.
It is fantastic.
Yeah. So Raghu, one of the things that I've we've spoken also, and you said these entrepreneurs need to be not working in the business, but they be working on the business, and you always emphasized on continuous learning program, especially for entrepreneurs, and that's a great thought, and very few people believe that that even entrepreneurs need to be constantly learning. Share us some of those thoughts that you always spoken about as to what's this whole thing about continuous learning. What are the benefits that you had?
Right. So one part is that if you see the top maybe 100 entrepreneurs, the maximum time they spend on is on learning. Whether it's Bill Gates or Warren Buffett, they've always attributed their success to the point that they learn. I'm just turning it around. I know you're not supposed to do that, but in my own office, I have a canvas there that is made there. It's my vision board, which actually personifies what exactly is it that we are putting it up. So in that, the main point there is that there's a seed that you plant in people's mind and that grows. So I think any investment, if you look at ROI, the amount of investment you put into learning is always going to be your maximum returns. So I spend about 1.5 hours a day on learning. That's my morning time. I wake up at 4:30. So generally, I don't do any transactional work in the morning. It's always about learning about new things, reading books, and applying systems. And of course, from there, taking it to execution is the key, because just filling the bucket with water is not going to help. And that's when you take it up. So if you see a circle, there's a very small part of which is like what I know. That those are my strengths. There's another small part which is what I don't know. That is things which are my weaknesses, and I'm aware about them. The biggest part of the pie is what I don't know. I don't know. That will only come when we constantly learn, when we listen, read biographies, and you never know when the next big idea can change your life.
Fabulous. And talking about the next big idea, can you tell me, Raghu, what is this My Gyan portal?
Right. So I set up a portal called mygyan.net. So the idea was that anybody seeking to learn should get the right kind of learning. And I always believe that free is not necessarily the best, because people believe that, okay, you see 2 motivational videos on YouTube and you're motivated for the rest of the week. That's not really true. And there's a lot of trainers, coaches, and stuff who are out there in the market who are not very tech savvy and today still believe you need to get into a room to teach somebody there. But I gave a platform where the coaches and trainers can put their programs on, and whoever wants to access it can easily access it as a learning management system in a very structured manner. So 2018, I thought it can be a big business by itself, but then I scaled it down and said, look, this is only for those people who are interested and who are connected with me. They get access to it, of course, and most of them are free, and we let them do it. So we have a small little community of about 3,500 people on MyGam, and on LinkedIn. I You didn't talk about it yet, but I'm just talking. My name is called Raghudan. That's my alter ego. So Raghudan speaks and Raghudan shares are two very popular hashtags where, like, a lot of views come in. That's where I built up my network of 34,000 people, and it is across geographies.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah, but very few entrepreneurs actually even understand that it's important to build, like how you said, the Ragu Dawn, and you built a following of 34, so you're putting your thoughts out there, and everything. So one of the things that I really wanted to even bring to you is, because you're a second generation, and this is something that we really need to talk about: succession planning. You've gone through that journey, and you will also go through it again at one point of time. Can you share something about the succession planning, both from your experience and what you plan to do?
Sure. So when I'm working in the business, I believe I am indispensable to the business. So that's always the case at which you begin it. But when you start working on the business, you start working on the models. You realize that there are functions where people have to be better than you. That is the kind of people that you have to get in. So if you get a design head, if you get an operations head, you should understand that they can deliver better in those little functions than you. And when you start doing that, at some point of time, the first and most important thing is that you delegate to the leadership team, where you make them accountable, you make them responsible for certain goals that we need to achieve out. And I'm only 44, so succession plans are a little away from my 3-year goals away. But yes, at any point of time, I tell my guys saying, the day I feel that I'm not delivering as CEO, I think there has to be somebody better coming than me. Managing director, I think it will be retained for a little longer time than that. But and again, I have a 11-year-old daughter, so it's not given that the business is made for her to take over. That's not really true. We don't even know whether she will want to come and join at the time or not. The choice is hers to do that.
Interesting. And Raghu, tell us about your PhD. I mean, you go with Dr. Raghunandan Jagdish. Tell us about your PhD. What did you do and how did you go about it?
So it always was on my bucket list. So I think everybody should make a bucket list for themselves, and in that, one of the items was get a PhD done. But at no point could I really go out and spend 3 years in an academic program and do that. So in France, there is a university called Robert Sorbonne University. So I did this in a distant manner from them. The thesis and everything was made very relevant to my field. So my thesis was on logistics management in aviation and defense, which is core at what I do. And my thesis committee, the meeting, the discussions, all of them were virtual on Zoom. And I only visited there to France at once, and we had the convocation and other things. So it took some time, yes, but I think, like I said, I give a dedicated 1.5 hours of learning a day. So in that, it becomes very easy to get the math done. So December 2022, finally, I got the coveted PhD, and yes, I think it does stand out as a little differentiator in an industry where there are not too many PhDs. And I mean, we recruited a PhD for heading my R&D in 2019, 1920, during the Corona. So again, MSMEs typically don't hire PhDs, but here we broke design and R&D as two separate things. So Dr. Sangram, who's the head of that, I used to always tell him, I envy you that you have the title before. So he used to always say, "Arey, your experience is good enough for that." I said, okay. but it's on my bucket list. Let me complete it up. So the day I became a PhD by certification, I think it was a double whammy there for me too.
Super. Doc, Doc, Raghu. Oh my God, there's so many names. We'll go by Raghudan.
No,
Keep this on LinkedIn.
so it's Dr. Raghudan. That's the most unique
All
combination you can ever.
right. That is awesome, man. Dr. Raghudan. So let's get
That's the
out of
most.
little out of the engineering field and the entrepreneurial field. Let's get to know you a little more personal. I know you're involved with orphanages. How did that happen, and why orphanages? How did that happen? Tell us about it.
So I mean, Harsh Bhai is a great inspiration. When I joined Ascent roughly 10 years ago, he talked about PSR, like personal social responsibility. We all hear about CSR. So I said, okay, there is corporate is one part, then there is some bit that you need to do. Uh, and coming across one of the birthdays of my daughter Kamya, we celebrated in an orphanage with those kids and stuff. Then I realized that how difficult it is to run these places. And again, there's a lot of people doing good work. A little support to them goes a long way. We don't think twice about doing a party at the Taj, spending maybe like 5 or 6 thousand rupees a plate when we do a party there. But that same amount can actually sustain an orphanage children for about 1 week for maybe food or education. So I have two very strong inclinations. One is towards education, where I believe education is the only method by which somebody can go from one level to the other. It is never roti kapda makan. Roti kapda makan is a consumption activity which will go away, but education is a sustainable one. And there we've seen great turnarounds by kids, how they take it up, how they take up the opportunities, and they become fantastic human beings contributing back to society.
Interesting.
So I would say that it is, rather than putting money subsidizing IIT, IIMs, who actually are a factory to generate CEOs for global Fortune 500 companies. I think the government should spend more on basic education up to 10th and 12th, but can't keep cribbing about it. So in our own little way, I think if for our birthdays, we at least pledge a little money to any orphanage or an old age home as a small contribution, or do it a monthly basis. I think that is a great method to take it forward. So there's
Very
an
interesting.
orphanage called Jan Kalyan Sevashram in Panvel. I'm associated with them. So they do a
Amazing.
fantastic job, and that's an orphanage come old age home. So you have both ends of the spectrum together.
Awesome. All right.
Excellent.
And Raghu, tell us about your Ascent journey. I mean, how's that been? You've been a member for 10 years, you just said. So
Yes. So I've been part of three groups in this time. And I believe a trust group is something which is very unique and sacrosanct. You're not invested into each other's successes or failures commercially. You're not on each other's boards physically, or you don't do transactions also with each other. It's not recommended to do. So after some time, you learn about each other so much that you can open your mouth and give a honest feedback, positive or negative, both ways, and that becomes an amazing sounding board for taking this forward. So I think Ascent is and now with the Ascent accelerating, more groups coming together, and you guys doing your 47th episode of this storytelling. I think it's an amazing platform, and there are hundreds of these stories worth telling and worth listening to and getting inspired over. We all listen to Richard Branson's and Elon Musk's story, but beyond a little bit, we cannot resonate with those, out. So this is, I think Harsh Bhai is doing a great job.
Amazing, man. Absolutely good. So, tell us about your family, your personal hobbies, everything that you do other than the engineering stuff.
So my wife Sangeeta, I met her in fact on a platform called Orkut. So I met my wife also using technology. It was a that was like a long time back, and she's a operations head at a digital marketing firm called DigiLocal. Uh, my daughter Kamya is 11. One day she wants to be an astronaut. Other day she wants to be a copywriter come artist. Third day she wants to maybe think about doing business. But it's great. I think fatherhood really converted me. So I think we should all aspire to be, the human beings, not what our fathers want us to be, but what we want our children to be. If we can get into that zone, I think it itself is a great journey. My hobbies are a lot of reading. I go out to nature once in a while. I used to collect a lot of stamps and coins. I think I had a collection of close to 164 countries at that time.
Oh wow.
Not opened it
Wow,
for a long
amazing.
time. I love traveling. I love doing day trips. So I'll go in the morning and come back in the evening. I visited places like Mauritius, reached in the morning, come back in the evening. And yeah, I'm mad that way. But I think it is better than nothing at all. So I would do like 2 business meetings and still see the places and come back. So I always push my team on saying, how much can you put into one day? There are some days where I do like 13 meetings in a day.
Oh
So
my god.
it doesn't work out. Yeah.
So Raghu, we are actually down to our 30 minutes, but I'll tell you, even we've lost track of our time. It's been fantastic listening to you, man. And it's just the last 30 minutes has been full of energy, full of this. So you actually deserve to be called the Dr. Raghu Don, man. It's just perfect, man. It's brilliant. Then I guess everyone's going to remember you as that itself, Dr. Raghu Don. But thank you so much for taking time out and sharing this with us. It's been fabulous listening to you. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you so much,
Thank you,
Ajit.
Ravi.
Thank you, Ravi. And of course, Ascent and all the
Thank you
people who
very
are listening. Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
Awesome. So you guys would have enjoyed this conversation. Fabulous stuff. Yeah, it is fantastic. So most of you who are just entrepreneurs who love these shows, share it. We have a lot of people who just share it to other entrepreneurs saying that, hey, this is interesting and this is one show that you would love to share. And if you are growth ready and you want to be part of the India growth story, then you should get to ascentfoundation.in and send in your application. And the Ascent team will get in touch with you. And if you're truly growth ready, we'll be happy to have you as part of our cohort. So that's the 47th episode. And we've got some nice comments coming for you and me, Ali. Amazing
Oh
dedication.
wow.
All
Thank you.
right. Thank you, Ashutosh. You just made our day. Thank you. Thanks a lot, guys. Thank you very much. It's been fun bringing you all these shows. We
You
continuously
guys.
keep learning every time, and it's fantastic. Thank you very much, guys. See you next Friday at 11 o'clock with another interesting story. Thanks a lot. Bye bye.